You are listening to the documented series, U.S.A.'s Fear of Black Leadership, Episode 1, The Takedown of Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party. There has been a plague within the black community of America, a plague of drugs. Drug users and drug dealers has been holding our culture back from progression and empowerment. What's even crazier is that this plague was brought on by the U.S. government in order to cripple black power and abolish black leadership. It's fair to say that black leadership is not as strong as it used to be. In fact, Huey P. Newton, the very face of black power, became a casualty in Nixon's war on drugs that was created in 1971. It is important to know how, and more importantly, why this happened, because those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it.
It blows the cops' minds that Huey could articulate these points of law. He could pull out some Supreme Court ruling particular related to the such and such amendment, this is due process law in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, therefore you cannot touch my private property, therefore move back, do not, and the black people in the community saying, damn, what kind of mess is this? They never seen it. So their imaginations were being captured. Literally we realized the policeman's imagination was being captured. Literally we realized the whole nation's imagination was being captured.
These fascist police are suppressing, repressing the white revolutionaries as well as the blacks who speak of and who are attempting to attain liberation. So I am not standing for violence, but I do stand for self-defense. We have a motto within the party. It says that we're advocates of the abolition of war. We do not want war, but war can only be abolished through war. And in order to get rid of the gun, sometimes it becomes necessary to take up the gun.
Huey Newton was born in 1942 in Monroe, Louisiana. His family moved to Oakland, California, where he attended Merritt College, in which he founded the Black Panther Party in 1966 with co-founder Bobby Seale. The ultimate purpose of the party was to put a stop to police brutality and ensure decent living for black families. The Black Panther Party for self-defense legally began to take up arms in the streets as they patrolled Oakland cops in order to protect and inform the black community on their power as the people. A 73-year-old Kalamazoo resident, James Bailey, remembers his encounter with the party at the Motown's Temptations concert in 1967.
Yeah, I remember at this, we went to this Temptations concert in Oakland, and right before the show was over, his brother come in screaming, they got guns, these niggas got guns. So everybody run outside. But what I saw was way different than what I think I was gonna saw. I saw a line of brothers dressed in all black, holding rifles, and the light-skinned one in the middle, he just chanting off all this legal shit. The police ain't know what to do. They couldn't do nothing. And it was scary, man, but it was powerful. Powerful, man.
However, not everyone felt that way. Others became afraid of this new surge of black pride.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive. I have asked the Congress to provide the legislative authority and the funds to fuel this kind of an offensive. This will be a worldwide offensive.
John L. Rickman, an aide to the Nixon administration, admitted to the true intent for the war on drugs in a private interview. He said the Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. To put things in simpler terms, the government flooded inner cities with drugs in hopes that it would destroy the Black Panthers. Drugs plagued inner city communities, ultimately neutralizing the Black Panther movement. During the 70s, the Panthers faced a series of violent convictions, financial hardships, and internal struggles between leaders, which led to the party being disbanded in 1980.
Newton's body was found before dawn in a pool of blood on a West Oakland sidewalk. Police said he had 3 bullet wounds in the head. Newton's wife's car was parked and locked just 30 feet away. The former radical died miles from his own home in a troubled neighborhood where drug deals and gunshots are common.
He was a hero figure in our eyes, you know, something to look up to. And it's just, like I said, sad that he was reduced to being slain in the streets of West Oakland.
Whether the rumors behind Newton's death are true or not, it is certain that the government's efforts drove him to such a fate. However, we do not have to share that same fate. Please understand that though we have our rights, the government is still afraid of our power, and they would do anything to stop it if you let them. It doesn't matter if you're black, Hispanic, Asian, homosexual, Muslim, or poor. Learn your country's dark and evil past so that you may be ready to fight them in the future.
The Black Panther Party calls for freedom and power to determine our destiny. The Black Panther Party calls for full employment for all our people. The Black Panther Party calls for an end to the capitalistic exploitation of our community. The Black Panther Party calls for decent housing for all people. The Black Panther Party calls for an educational system that will tell us the true facts about this decadent society. The Black Panther Party calls for an end to police brutality.